Hello there. Welcome to the Sleepy Japanese Traditions channel. I'm so grateful you found your way here. Perhaps you've had a busy day in the waking world, or perhaps you're looking for a quiet, rhythmic place to rest your thoughts. Either way, tonight's journey is crafted just for you. Tonight, we are drifting into the steaming, soulful world of ramen. While it is celebrated globally as a vibrant and energetic meal, its true essence lies in the patient, simmering depths of a professional kitchen long before the sun rises. Beyond the simple combination of noodles and broth lies a masterpiece of culinary chemistry, a delicate balance of earth, sea, and human dedication that has evolved over centuries. We'll travel gently from the bustling street stalls of old Tokyo to the quiet, snow-covered shops of Hokkaido. You'll hear of the scientific magic within the alkaline waters, the deep, hidden depths of umami found in kombu and dried fish, and the silent artistry of the master chef who treats every bowl like a landscape painting. It is a story of Japan's resilience and creativity, told through the steady steam of a boiling pot and the rhythmic folding of golden noodles. And just before we begin, if these calm explorations of Japanese culinary traditions help you unwind, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps our community grow, one sleepy soul at a time. But for now, all you need to do is rest, settle in, and allow the warm, comforting world of ramen to carry you softly into sleep. Now, let's begin. Ramen is a beloved Japanese noodle soup that has evolved from humble Chinese origins into a complex culinary art form. While its roots can be traced back to the late 19th century when it was introduced by immigrants in port cities, Japan has uniquely transformed this dish into a cultural icon. The evolution of ramen represents a fascinating intersection of international trade and local adaptation, where foreign ideas were embraced and refined through the lens of Japanese craftsmanship. Today, it stands as a symbol of Japanese innovation, reflecting a history of resilience and creativity. Understanding ramen requires looking beyond its popularity as a quick meal and recognizing it as a deeply layered tradition that continues to inspire chefs and food lovers across the entire world, bridging diverse cultures through a single, steaming bowl. The dish fundamentally consists of 4 key components including the wheat noodles, the savory broth, the tare, and various toppings. Each of these elements must work in perfect harmony to create a successful bowl of ramen, requiring a balance of textures and flavors that are carefully considered by the chef. The noodles provide the essential structure, while the broth serves as the soul of the dish, carrying the primary flavors. The tare is a concentrated seasoning that adds depth and saltiness, and the toppings offer a variety of visual and textural contrasts. This modular structure allows for incredible diversity, as changing just one component can create an entirely new regional style. This complexity is why ramen is often studied by culinary experts who appreciate the intricate layers of preparation involved in every serving. While many people associate ramen with instant noodles, the traditional craft involves days of preparation and deep scientific precision. Professional ramen chefs often begin their work long before the shop opens, simmering large pots of bones, vegetables, and seafood to extract every possible molecule of flavor. This slow extraction process is a delicate dance of temperature control and time, ensuring that the broth achieves the perfect clarity or richness. Scientific principles, such as the emulsification of fats and the breakdown of collagen into gelatin, are fundamental to achieving the desired mouthfeel and consistency. This level of dedication distinguishes artisanal ramen from its mass-produced counterparts, highlighting the kodawari or obsessive pursuit of perfection that defines Japanese culinary arts. It is a slow food tradition hidden within a fast food shell. The history of ramen began in the late 19th century when Chinese immigrants introduced wheat noodles to Japanese port cities. These early versions were often served at simple outdoor stalls and were characterized by a salty, meat-based broth that appealed to the local working class. As Japan opened its doors to the world during the Meiji era, these noodles became a staple in international hubs like Yokohama and Kobe. Initially, the dish was quite different from what we recognize today, often featuring simpler seasonings and fewer toppings. However, the basic concept of a nutritious, warm noodle soup resonated with the Japanese people, who began to experiment with local ingredients. This historical migration of flavors laid the foundation for what would eventually become one of the most famous dishes in the entire world. In the early days, ramen was known as Shina soba, which literally translates to Chinese-style noodles in the Japanese language. The term Shina was a common way to refer to China at the time, and soba was used generically for many types of noodles, even though these wheat-based strands were very different from traditional buckwheat soba. This naming reflects the clear recognition of the dish's foreign origins during its early development in Japan. Over time, as the dish became more integrated into the daily life of Japanese citizens, the name shifted to chuka soba and eventually to the modern katakana word, ramen. This linguistic evolution mirrors the cultural journey of the dish itself, moving from an exotic import to a deeply rooted part of the national identity that is now uniquely and proudly Japanese. The Great Kanto earthquake of 1923 played a surprising role in spreading ramen culture as displaced chefs moved to different regions. When the devastating earthquake struck Tokyo and the surrounding areas, many of the city's established ramen stalls and shops were destroyed, forcing chefs to flee to other parts of the country to rebuild their lives. As these artisans settled in new prefectures, they brought their secret recipes and techniques with them, introducing the taste of Tokyo-style ramen to rural areas. This forced migration acted as a catalyst for the diversification of ramen, as chefs began to adapt their original recipes to include local ingredients found in their new homes. This historical turning point transformed a localized urban snack into a nationwide phenomenon, setting the stage for the rich variety of regional ramen styles. Post-war Japan saw a massive surge in ramen consumption due to the abundance of wheat flour imported from the United States. Following the end of the Second World War, Japan faced severe food shortages, and rice was often difficult to obtain for the general population. To help alleviate the hunger, the occupation forces brought in large quantities of wheat, which made noodles a much more accessible and affordable source of calories than traditional rice-based meals. Ramen stalls became vital community hubs, providing cheap, hot, and filling nutrition to a nation in the process of rebuilding. This period of necessity solidified ramen's place in the hearts of the Japanese people, evolving it from a specialty item into an essential comfort food that supported the country through its most challenging years of recovery. Modern ramen is categorized into 4 primary styles based on the base seasoning known as shoyu, shio, miso, and tonkotsu. These categories serve as the fundamental framework for understanding the vast world of ramen, as each one offers a distinct sensory experience and historical background. Shoyu and shio represent the more traditional, lighter styles that emphasize clarity and the natural essence of the ingredients. Miso and tonkotsu represent the richer, more robust side of the spectrum, offering heavy textures and bold, complex flavors that have gained immense popularity in recent decades. While many experimental fusion styles exist today, almost every bowl of ramen can find its roots in one of these 4 pillars. Mastering the differences between these styles is the first step for any newcomer to truly appreciate the depth of ramen. Shoyu ramen features a clear brown broth flavored with high-quality soy sauce and typically uses chicken or vegetable stock. This style is often considered the most classic and nostalgic form of ramen, particularly in the Tokyo region where it first gained widespread popularity. The soy sauce used is not just a simple salt substitute. It is a complex fermented product that adds its own unique notes of sweetness, acidity, and deep umami. Chefs often blend several types of soy sauce to create a proprietary tear that defines the specific character of their shop. The result is a refined and aromatic soup that is light enough to enjoy frequently but savory enough to be deeply satisfying. It represents the elegance of simplicity, where the quality of each individual ingredient is allowed to shine through. Shoyu ramen is the oldest style and relies on salt to enhance the natural flavors of the seafood or chicken broth. Because salt is a transparent seasoning, it does not change the color of the soup, resulting in a beautiful, pale golden broth that is exceptionally clear. This transparency means there is nowhere for the chef to hide. The ingredients must be of the highest quality and the preparation must be flawless to avoid any bitterness or unwanted odors. Shoyu ramen often incorporates elements from the sea, such as dried scallops or kelp, to create a delicate and refreshing oceanic profile. It is a style that rewards the patient diner, as the subtle layers of flavor reveal themselves slowly with every sip. For many purists, Shoyu ramen is the ultimate test of a chef's technical skill and ingredient selection. Miso ramen originated in Hokkaido and uses fermented soybean paste to create a thick, hearty, and warming winter meal. This relatively modern style was born in the mid-20th century at a small shop in Sapporo, where a creative chef decided to add noodles to a traditional miso soup. The rich, earthy profile of the fermented paste provides a robust body that can stand up to the freezing temperatures of northern Japan. Unlike the lighter, clear broths, miso ramen often features a complex, opaque soup that is deeply savory and slightly sweet. It is frequently topped with ingredients like corn, butter, and stir-fried vegetables, which add extra layers of texture and calories. This style revolutionized the industry by proving that ramen could be a heavy, soul-warming comfort food capable of providing intense satisfaction during the coldest months of the year. Tonkotsu ramen is famous for its cloudy white broth made by boiling pork bones at high heat for many hours. Originating from the island of Kyushu, specifically in the city of Kurume, this style was actually discovered by accident when a chef left his soup pot boiling for too long. The high heat caused the marrow and fats to break down and mix with the water, creating a milky, opaque liquid that was incredibly rich in flavor. Today, this process is carefully controlled, with chefs often simmering bones for 20 hours or more to achieve the perfect viscosity. The result is a velvety, creamy texture that coats the tongue and provides a deep sense of indulgence. Tonkotsu has become one of the most popular styles globally, captivating diners with its bold presence and the incredible depth of its animal-based umami. The creamy texture of tonkotsu broth is a result of the emulsification of fats and collagen released during the boiling process. From a scientific perspective, this is a fascinating transformation where hydrophobic fats are forced to mix with water through vigorous boiling. As the connective tissues in the pork bones break down, they release gelatin, which acts as a natural stabilizer for this emulsion. This creates a thick, opaque suspension that feels heavy and rich on the palate, a quality often referred to as mouthfeel. The science of heat and agitation is what allows a simple pot of water and bones to become a complex, nutrient-dense liquid. Understanding this chemical process helps us appreciate why authentic tonkotsu cannot be rushed, as it takes significant energy and time to achieve that signature, bone-white silkiness that fans of the dish crave. The term umami is central to ramen, describing the fifth basic taste that provides a long-lasting and mouth-watering sensation. While sweet, sour, salty, and bitter are easily recognized, umami is more subtle, often described as a savory or meaty quality that rounds out the overall flavor profile. In the context of a ramen bowl, Umami is the invisible force that makes the soup feel complete and deeply satisfying. It was first scientifically identified in Japan by Dr. Kikanaya Ikeda, who noticed a unique savory taste in dashi broth made from seaweed. In ramen, umami is meticulously layered by combining different ingredients that contain natural flavor enhancers. This scientific approach to building flavor ensures that every spoonful of soup triggers a powerful neurological response of pleasure, making the dish feel like more than just the sum of its parts. Glutamic acid found in kombu kelp is one of the primary scientific building blocks of the deep umami flavor in broth. Kombu is a type of edible seaweed that has been a cornerstone of Japanese cuisine for centuries, prized for its high concentration of natural glutamates. When soaked or gently heated in water, the seaweed releases these organic compounds, creating a base that is naturally savory and rich. In ramen production, kombu is often used to provide a clean, oceanic foundation that enhances the flavors of other ingredients without overpowering them. It acts as a natural flavor amplifier, making meat or vegetable stocks taste more intense and well-rounded. By understanding the role of glutamic acid, we can see how ramen chefs utilize ancient ingredients to manipulate the fundamental chemistry of taste, creating a soup that resonates deep within our sensory system. Inosinic acid, which is abundant in dried bonito flakes, works synergistically with glutamic acid to multiply the perceived savory taste. Bonito flakes, known as katsuobushi, are made from skipjack tuna that has been smoked, fermented, and dried into hard blocks. When these flakes are added to the broth, they release nucleotides that interact with the glutamates already present from ingredients like kombu. This interaction is a well-documented scientific phenomenon called umami synergy, where the combination of two different types of umami compounds creates a flavor intensity that is much stronger than if they were used alone. This is why many ramen recipes include both seafood and land-based ingredients. By mastering this synergy, a chef can create a broth that is exceptionally powerful and lingering, providing a complex taste experience that satisfies the palate on a molecular level. Guanylyc acid from dried shiitake mushrooms is another essential organic compound used to reach the ultimate peak of flavor complexity. While glutamic and inosinic acids are the most famous, guanylyc acid provides a third dimension of savory depth that is particularly effective in vegetable and soy-based broths. Dried shiitake mushrooms are unique because the drying process actually increases the concentration of these flavorful nucleotides. When the mushrooms are rehydrated in the soup, they impart an earthy, woody aroma and a profound savoriness that lingers on the back of the tongue. This clever use of fungi demonstrates the resourcefulness of Japanese culinary traditions in utilizing preservation methods to enhance natural flavors. For a ramen master, incorporating shiitake is a strategic move to ensure the broth has a complete and harmonious profile that appeals to all the different taste receptors. The noodles themselves are made from wheat flour, water, salt, and a specific alkaline mineral water known as kansui. While they might look like simple pasta, ramen noodles are chemically distinct due to this unique alkaline addition. The wheat flour used is typically high in protein, which provides the necessary gluten structure to withstand the hot soup without turning into mush. The water content is carefully measured to determine the hydration level, which affects how much soup the noodle will absorb once it is served. Every variable, from the type of wheat to the precise ratio of salt, is adjusted to create a specific texture that complements the chef's broth. This focus on the science of the dough ensures that the noodles are not just a side component, but a primary actor in the overall experience of the dish. Kansui is the secret ingredient that gives ramen noodles their characteristic yellowish color, firm texture, and distinct earthy aroma. This alkaline solution, which traditionally contained potassium carbonate and sodium carbonate, reacts with the flavonoids in the wheat flour to change the color from white to yellow naturally. Beyond the visual change, the alkalinity alters the gluten proteins, making the noodles more elastic and chewy, a quality that is essential for the ramen experience. It also prevents the noodles from softening too quickly in the boiling hot broth, allowing the diner to enjoy a consistent texture from the first bite to the last. Without the presence of these alkaline salts, the dish would lose its structural identity and become a different type of noodle entirely. Kansui is truly the chemical soul that separates ramen from all other wheat-based pastas. Without the presence of alkaline salts, the noodles would be soft and white, resembling traditional Japanese udon rather than ramen. The chemical reaction triggered by the kansui is what creates the snap and springy resistance that defines a high-quality ramen noodle. This firm texture is vital because it provides a satisfying contrast to the liquid soup, creating a dynamic eating experience. In the world of Japanese noodles, the distinction between udon and ramen is not just about the shape, but about this fundamental chemical composition. Udon is known for its soft, pillowy, and neutral character, whereas ramen is prized for its strength and bold, slightly mineral flavor. Understanding this scientific difference allows us to appreciate the intentional engineering behind the food, where specific ingredients are chosen to create a very particular physical sensation during consumption, making every chew an intentional part of the meal. The thickness and shape of the noodles are carefully chosen by the chef to match the viscosity of the specific broth. In the world of professional ramen, there is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to the noodle. It is a deliberate architectural decision. A thick, heavy broth requires a different structural partner than a thin, clear soup to ensure the perfect ratio of liquid to solid in every mouthful. Chefs experiment with different cutting blades and rolling pressures to achieve the exact millimeter of thickness required for their vision. This attention to detail ensures that the noodles do not overwhelm the soup, nor does the soup drown out the texture of the wheat. It is a subtle but vital part of the culinary engineering that makes a bowl of ramen feel balanced and cohesive, reflecting the chef's deep understanding of food physics. Thin, straight noodles are traditionally paired with lighter broths so the liquid can easily coat the surface of each strand. Because these noodles have a high surface area to volume ratio, they are exceptionally good at carrying delicate flavors like those found in a refined shoyu or shoyu soup. The straight shape allows the noodles to slide smoothly against one another, creating a sleek and elegant eating experience that matches the clarity of the broth. These noodles are often cooked for a very short time to maintain a firm core, providing a gentle resistance known as al dente in Western terms. This pairing is designed for a quick, rhythmic style of eating where the aroma of the soup is the primary focus. By using straight noodles, the chef ensures that the subtle nuances of the broth are not lost, but rather highlighted by the clean, simple delivery of the wheat. Thick, wavy noodles are designed for heavier soups like miso, as the curves help trap more broth in every single bite. The physical shape of the chigae-ramen, or curly noodles, creates tiny pockets and crevices that act like a net, catching the thick, oily, or particulate-heavy soup. This is essential for robust styles where the broth is almost like a sauce, ensuring that the bold flavors are not left at the bottom of the bowl. The extra thickness also provides a more substantial, chewy texture that can stand up to the intense saltiness and richness of fermented soybean paste or heavy pork fat. These noodles offer a playful and rustic sensation in the mouth, requiring more effort to chew, which in turn allows more time for the complex flavors to develop on the palate. It is a perfect example of how form follows function in Japanese culinary design. The tare is a highly concentrated seasoning sauce placed at the bottom of the bowl before the hot broth is added. While the broth provides the volume and the primary body of the soup, The tear provides the precise saltiness and the signature flavor profile. It is often made by simmering soy sauce, salt, or miso with a variety of secret ingredients like dried seafood, spices, or aged vinegar. Because it is so concentrated, only a small amount is used, but its impact on the final dish is transformative. The moment the hot broth hits the tear, the flavors are unlocked and bloom throughout the bowl. This method of keeping the seasoning separate from the main stock allows chefs to maintain consistent salt levels and customize each bowl individually. The tear is the chef's signature, representing the hidden intellectual property of the ramen shop. Many ramen masters keep their tear recipes secret, as it defines the soul and the unique identity of their specific shop. While the ingredients for the broth, like pork bones or chicken, are relatively visible, the components of the tear are often a mystery known only to the head chef and a few trusted apprentices. Some shops use tear that has been replenished for decades, adding new sauce to a base that contains the essence of thousands of previous batches. This creates a deep, aged complexity that is impossible to replicate overnight. This culture of secrecy highlights the competitive nature of the ramen world, where a unique flavor profile can make a shop a national sensation. For the artisan, the tear is a liquid legacy, a concentrated reflection of their history, their personal taste, and their lifelong dedication to the craft of flavor. Fat and oil, often called komiyu, are drizzled on top to provide aroma and create a thermal barrier for the heat. These flavored oils, often infused with garlic, shallots, or dried shrimp, serve a dual purpose in a professional bowl of ramen. First, they provide a powerful olfactory hit the moment the bowl is placed in front of the customer, stimulating the appetite through the sense of smell. Second, the layer of oil floats on the surface, acting as an insulator that keeps the soup underneath piping hot until the very last drop. In many styles, this oil is what gives the ramen its punch and luxurious mouthfeel. Science shows that many flavor compounds are fat-soluble, meaning the oil carries certain tastes that the water-based broth cannot. This thin layer of liquid gold is the final touch that brings the entire composition into a brilliant, aromatic focus. Shoyu, or braised pork belly, is the most iconic topping and is often simmered for hours until it becomes incredibly tender. The word actually originates from the Chinese char siu, but the Japanese version is typically braised rather than roasted. The pork is tied with twine to maintain its shape and cooked at a low temperature in a mixture of soy sauce, mirin, sugar, and aromatics like ginger and green onion. This slow cooking process breaks down the tough connective tissues and melts the fat, resulting in a melt-in-the-mouth texture that is highly prized. When sliced, each piece displays beautiful layers of lean meat and translucent fat, adding a rich, savory protein element to the dish. The leftover braising liquid is often recycled into the tear, ensuring that no flavor is wasted and the entire bowl remains harmoniously connected. The ajitsuke tamago is a soft-boiled egg marinated in soy sauce that features a custardy, jammy yolk with deep golden colors. Achieving the perfect ramen egg is a technical challenge that requires precise timing, often down to the exact second. The eggs are boiled just long enough for the whites to set while the center remains liquid. Then they are immediately shocked in ice water to stop the cooking. After being peeled, they are soaked in a chilled marinade for several hours or even days, which seasons the egg and uses osmosis to change the texture of the yolk into a thick, honey-like consistency. When the egg is sliced open, the vibrant yolk adds a splash of color and a rich, creamy sweetness that balances the saltiness of the broth. It is perhaps the most visually satisfying and beloved topping in the modern ramen repertoire. Menma consists of fermented bamboo shoots that add a unique earthy flavor and a satisfying crunchy texture to the ramen bowl. These shoots are typically harvested, dried in the sun, and then fermented before being rehydrated and seasoned with soy sauce and sesame oil. The fermentation process gives menma a slightly funky, savory aroma that complements the complexity of the soup. Its fibrous and crunchy nature provides a necessary textural break from the soft noodles and tender meat, engaging the sense of mouthfeel in a different way. Historically, menma was a way to preserve seasonal bamboo so it could be enjoyed year-round. Today, it is an essential component that provides a grounded, woody note to the dish. For many enthusiasts, a bowl of ramen feels incomplete without these small, flavorful strips peeking out from beneath the surface of the aromatic broth. Nori, the dried seaweed sheet, provides a hint of the ocean and stays crisp just long enough to be enjoyed early. Often tucked into the side of the bowl like a dark green sail, nori adds a visual elegance and a distinct toasted aroma. As the seaweed comes into contact with the steam and the broth, it releases a subtle mineral flavor that enhances the umami of the soup. Some diners choose to eat the nori immediately while it is still crunchy, while others let it soften and wrap it around a bundle of noodles for a concentrated burst of flavor. Scientifically, nori is rich in vitamins and minerals, adding a hidden nutritional boost to the meal. Whether used as a garnish or a functional wrap, this thin sheet of seaweed represents the deep connection between Japanese cuisine and the surrounding sea, even in a dish primarily focused on wheat and meat. Negi, or chopped green onions, are essential for adding a fresh, sharp contrast to the richness of the salty meat fats. These finely sliced aromatics provide more than just a vibrant splash of green color. They offer a necessary bite of acidity and a crisp texture that cleanses the palate between sips of heavy broth. Depending on the region, chefs may use the white parts for a pungent kick or the green parts for a milder, herbal finish. Some styles even use shiruga negi, which are long, thin white threads of onion that look like white hair, adding a sophisticated visual element to the presentation. Scientifically, the sulfur compounds in the onions help to balance the heavy lipids in the soup, making the entire meal feel lighter and more digestible. This simple vegetable garnish is a crucial bridge that connects the fatty elements of the ramen with the refreshing aromatics. Regional variations of ramen across Japan reflect the local climate, available ingredients, and the cultural history of each specific prefecture. Japan's geography is incredibly diverse, stretching from the cold northern island of Hokkaido to the subtropical islands of Okinawa, and ramen has adapted to every unique environment. In coastal areas, you will find broths dominated by dried sardines and kelp, while inland regions often focus on pork or chicken stocks. These local styles, known as gotaki ramen, are a source of great regional pride and serve as a culinary map of the country's agricultural and historical landscape. For a traveler, tasting these variations is a way to understand the heart of a community, as every bowl tells a story of the land, the sea, and the people who have refined their local recipe over many generations. Sapporo ramen is famous for its butter and corn toppings, providing extra calories and warmth during the freezing northern winters. This iconic style was developed to satisfy the appetites of hard-working residents in Hokkaido, where the temperature frequently stays below freezing for months at a time. The base is typically a rich miso broth, which is sautéed in a wok with vegetables to create a smoky, charred flavor that is unique to this region. Adding a slice of butter creates a golden film on the surface, which traps the steam and adds a luxurious, creamy depth to the salty soup. The sweet yellow corn provides a burst of sugary contrast to the fermented soybean paste, creating a comforting and high-energy meal. It is a perfect example of how Japanese cuisine adapts to the harshness of nature, turning survival into a delicious and celebrated art form. Hakata ramen from Kyushu is characterized by its thin noodles and the practice of katama, which means ordering a second serving. Because the noodles used in this style are incredibly thin and delicate, they cook very quickly and can become soft if they sit in the hot broth for too long. To prevent this, the original portion of noodles is intentionally kept small, allowing the diner to finish them while they are still firm and koshy. If you are still hungry, you simply ask for a kai dama, and a fresh bundle of hot noodles is brought to your table to be dropped into your remaining soup. This unique system ensures that every single bite maintains the perfect texture and temperature. It reflects the fast-paced, practical nature of the Fukuoka region and has become a beloved ritual for ramen enthusiasts who enjoy customizing the pace of their meal. Kitakata ramen features hand-kneaded, flat, curly noodles and is often eaten for breakfast by the hardworking residents of Fukushima. This small city has one of the highest numbers of ramen shops per capita in all of Japan, and the culture of asa-ra, or morning ramen, is a deeply ingrained local tradition. The broth is usually a light, clear soy sauce base made from a combination of pork bones and local dried fish, providing a clean start to the day. The noodles are known for being aged longer than usual, which gives them a soft yet incredibly springy texture that is a joy to chew. Eating a warm bowl of noodles in the early morning light provides a sense of community and strength, showing that ramen is not just a late-night indulgence, but a versatile staple that nourishes the spirit at any hour. Onomichi ramen is known for using local seafood from the Seto Inland Sea combined with large pieces of rendered pork fat. This style, originating from a picturesque port town in Hiroshima, beautifully balances the lightness of the ocean with the richness of the land. The broth is a shoyu base that features the deep, salty essence of small dried fish, reflecting the town's maritime heritage. What makes it truly distinctive are the back fat crumbles, or sibura, that float on the surface, adding a sweet and savory richness to every spoonful. The flat noodles are designed to catch these small pieces of fat, ensuring that the flavor of the pork is present in every bite. This contrast between the clean seafood stock and the indulgent pork fat creates a complex and memorable flavor profile that attracts tourists from across the country. The temperature of the bowl is crucial, as professional chefs often preheat the ceramic to ensure the soup stays piping hot. In a high-end ramen shop, you might notice the chef dipping the bowls into a hot water bath or placing them on a heated rack before the soup is poured. This is not just for comfort, it is a vital part of preserving the integrity of the dish. If a hot broth is poured into a cold bowl, the temperature drops instantly, which can cause the fats in the soup to congeal and the aromas to dampen. By ensuring the ceramic is warm, the chef maintains the vibrancy of the flavors and ensures that the noodles stay at their optimal cooking point. This silent attention to thermal physics is a hallmark of Japanese hospitality, ensuring that the guest experiences the meal exactly as the creator intended. Slurping ramen is not considered rude in Japan. Instead, it is a functional technique used to cool the hot noodles. While many Western cultures view loud eating as a breach of etiquette, in a Japanese ramen shop, the sound of slurping is a sign of enjoyment and appreciation for the chef's work. When you pull the noodles into your mouth with a quick intake of air, you are creating a cooling effect that prevents you from burning your tongue on the boiling soup. Furthermore, this action helps to separate the individual strands of noodles, allowing them to be coated evenly with the broth. It is a practical and efficient way to eat a dish that is served at such high temperatures. Far from being a lack of manners, slurping is an essential part of the sensory experience, allowing the diner to focus entirely on the flavor and heat. Scientific studies suggest that slurping also aerates the broth, allowing the volatile aromas to reach the back of the nose. This process, known as retronasal olfaction, is the same technique used by professional wine tasters to fully appreciate the complex notes of a vintage. When air is mixed with the liquid during a slurp, it helps to vaporize the aromatic compounds in the oils and fats, sending them directly to the olfactory receptors. This means that you are not just tasting the salt and umami on your tongue, but also smelling the deep scents of ginger, garlic, and seafood through the back of your throat. This maximizes the sensory impact of the meal, making the flavor feel more intense and three-dimensional. Slurping is therefore a sophisticated way to engage your entire biological tasting system, ensuring that no subtle note of the chef's hard work goes unnoticed. The arrangement of toppings in the bowl is often compared to a landscape painting, balancing colors, textures, and geometric shapes. A master chef does not simply throw ingredients into the soup. They carefully place each item to create a visual harmony that anticipates the flavors to come. The dark green of the nori might be placed against the pale white of the onion, while the golden circle of the egg sits next to the rich brown of the chashu pork. This practice follows the traditional Japanese aesthetic principle of moritsuke, where the appearance of the food is considered just as important as the taste. The visual balance prepares the mind for the meal, creating a sense of calm and expectation. When you look down at a perfectly composed bowl of ramen, you are seeing a miniature world of nature's bounty, designed to be beautiful before it is ever consumed. In 1958, Momofuku Ando invented the world's first instant noodles, which transformed ramen into a global household staple for everyone. Faced with food shortages in post-war Japan, Ando sought to create a convenient, long-lasting meal that could be prepared simply by adding hot water. Through a process of trial and error, he discovered that flash-frying noodles in hot oil created tiny pores, allowing them to dehydrate for storage and rehydrate almost instantly later. This invention, known as chicken ramen, revolutionized the global food industry and made the flavors of Japan accessible to millions of people regardless of their location or income. While it is a different experience from fresh ramen, the scientific innovation behind instant noodles represents a spirit of accessibility and humanitarian concern, ensuring that a warm, savory meal is never more than a few minutes away for anyone in need. Instant ramen was initially considered a luxury item because it was more expensive than fresh noodles sold at the local market. When it first hit the shelves in the late 1950s, the high-tech packaging and the novelty of instant preparation meant it carried a premium price tag. It was marketed as a modern space-age convenience for the busy urban family, representing the future of Japanese technology and lifestyle. However, as production techniques improved and the scale of manufacturing increased, the price dropped significantly, allowing it to become the affordable pantry staple we know today. This transition from an expensive novelty to a universal food source is a fascinating example of how technology democratizes flavor. It reminds us that what we now view as a simple, cheap snack was once a groundbreaking achievement of culinary engineering that symbolized Japan's rapid industrial growth and modernized domestic life. Space ramen was actually developed for Japanese astronauts so they could enjoy the taste of home while orbiting the Earth. Working with food scientists, major ramen manufacturers created Space Ram, a special version of the dish that could be consumed in zero-gravity environments. Because liquids behave differently in space, the broth was thickened into a gel-like consistency to prevent droplets from floating away and damaging sensitive equipment. The noodles were also designed to rehydrate at lower temperatures, as water boils differently in a pressurized cabin. Astronaut Soichi Noguchi famously enjoyed this spacefaring ramen during his mission, proving that the psychological comfort of a familiar meal is essential even in the farthest reaches of human exploration. This endeavor showcases the incredible adaptability of ramen and how it continues to evolve alongside human achievement, providing a savory link to our home planet even among the stars. The Ramen Museum in Yokohama offers a nostalgic journey back to the streets of 1958, celebrating the history of the dish. Inside this unique facility, The basement floors are transformed into a meticulously detailed recreation of a mid-century Japanese town, complete with flickering neon signs and weathered wooden storefronts. Visitors can wander through these atmospheric alleys and sample various regional styles of ramen from famous shops across the country. The museum serves as a cultural archive, preserving the stories of the chefs and the social conditions that allowed ramen to flourish. By placing the food within its historical context, the museum helps guests appreciate that ramen is not just a commercial product, but a living piece of history that reflects the soul of the Japanese people. It is a place where time stands still, allowing the aroma of simmering broth to connect the past with the present. Many modern ramen shops use double soup techniques, blending meat-based and seafood-based stocks to achieve a more rounded flavor. This method involves preparing two separate pots, typically one with pork or chicken bones and another with dried fish and kelp, and mixing them together just before serving. Scientifically, this allows the chef to control the extraction process for each ingredient perfectly, as fish and meat require different temperatures and simmering times to release their best qualities. Combining the heavy, land-based fats with the light, mineral-rich oceanic stocks creates a complex synergy of umami that a single pot could never achieve. This W soup style has become a hallmark of the modern ramen movement, representing a sophisticated understanding of ingredient chemistry. It ensures that the final broth is both deep and clean, offering a multidimensional taste experience that appeals to the most discerning of modern palates. The Maillard reaction occurs when searing the pork or simmering the bones, creating hundreds of new flavor compounds for the soup. This chemical reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars is what gives browned food its distinctive, savory aroma and rich color. In ramen preparation, chefs often roast the bones before boiling them or sear the shoyu pork to trigger this process, adding a toasty or caramelized depth to the final dish. Even the long simmering of the broth can cause subtle Maillard reactions over time, darkening the liquid and concentrating the flavors. This is the science behind why a broth that has been carefully tended for 24 hours tastes so much more complex than a quick stock. Understanding the Maillard reaction helps us appreciate the invisible transformations happening inside the pot, where heat and time turn simple proteins into a symphony of hundreds of unique, delicious molecules. Scientific refraction meters are often used by modern chefs to measure the precise density and consistency of their soup stock. While traditional masters might rely solely on their intuition and taste, many of today's new wave ramen chefs use technology to ensure absolute consistency across every bowl served. A refractometer measures how light bends as it passes through the liquid, which indicates the concentration of dissolved solids like collagen, fats, and minerals. By monitoring the brix level of their soup, chefs can determine exactly when the broth has reached its peak richness and avoid serving a product that is too thin or over-reduced. This blend of traditional craftsmanship and modern laboratory precision ensures that every customer receives the exact same high-quality experience. It represents the professionalization of the ramen industry, where the pursuit of flavor is supported by rigorous data and a commitment to technical excellence. Sukemen is a popular style where the noodles and a concentrated dipping broth are served in two separate individual bowls. Invented in the mid-20th century as a staff meal, this dip-style ramen allows the diner to control exactly how much flavor they want with every bite. The noodles are typically served cold or at room temperature, while the dipping soup is served piping hot and much more intensely seasoned than a standard ramen broth. Because the noodles are rinsed in cold water after boiling, they have a firmer, more resilient texture that many enthusiasts prefer. As you dip the noodles into the thick, savory liquid, the contrast in temperature and the concentration of the sauce create a powerful sensory impact. This style highlights the importance of the noodle's own flavor and provides a modern, interactive way to enjoy the traditional components of a ramen bowl. Abura soba is a soupless ramen that relies on a potent mixture of oil and sauce at the bottom. The name literally translates to oil noodles, but despite the name, it is often considered a lighter alternative because it lacks the heavy, high-calorie broth of traditional styles. To eat it, the diner must vigorously mix the thick, chewy noodles with the seasoned oil, vinegar, and various toppings like bamboo shoots and shredded pork. This coating process ensures that every strand of noodle is infused with a rich, glossy flavor that is deeply satisfying. Many people enjoy customizing their bowl with extra chili oil or minced garlic to suit their personal taste. Abura soba celebrates the pure texture and flavor of the wheat noodles, proving that the essence of ramen can still be found even when the soup is stripped away, leaving only the fundamental heart of the dish. Hiyashi chuka is a cold ramen dish topped with colorful vegetables, perfect for surviving the humid and intense Japanese summers. Served with a chilled, vinegar-based dressing, this dish offers a refreshing and tangy alternative to the steaming bowls of winter. The presentation is usually very beautiful, featuring thinly sliced ribbons of cucumber, ham, egg crepes, and ginger arranged in a radial pattern that resembles a summer firework. The acidity of the dressing stimulates the appetite during the hot months when heavy meals might feel overwhelming. It is a seasonal tradition in Japan, with signs appearing in shop windows announcing Hiyashi chuka has begun, signaling the arrival of the summer season. This dish reminds us that ramen is a versatile companion that can adapt its temperature and ingredients to match the rhythms of nature, providing comfort and nourishment all year round. The mastery of a ramen chef, or taisho, requires years of apprenticeship to learn the delicate balance of heat and time. Becoming a true professional is not merely about following a recipe, but about developing an intuitive connection with the ingredients and the environment. Trainees often spend months just cleaning the kitchen and preparing toppings before they are allowed to touch the soup pot. They must learn to recognize the subtle changes in the broth's aroma and color that indicate the perfect moment of extraction. This rigorous process builds a foundation of discipline and respect for the craft, ensuring that the quality of the ramen is maintained even under the pressure of a busy shop. For a taisho, every bowl is a reflection of their character, requiring a lifetime of constant learning and a deep, unwavering commitment to the culinary arts of Japan. Water quality is vital, as the mineral content of the water can significantly affect the extraction of flavor from the ingredients. Since soup is primarily composed of water, its chemical makeup serves as the canvas upon which all other flavors are painted. High levels of minerals like calcium and magnesium, known as hard water, can interfere with the way amino acids and oils dissolve into the liquid. Conversely, water that is too soft might fail to provide the necessary structure for certain types of stocks. Many elite ramen chefs install sophisticated filtration systems to achieve a specific mineral balance that complements their unique recipe. They understand that the invisible ingredient is just as important as the pork or the wheat. This scientific attention to the very base of the soup ensures that the final product is clean, balanced, and perfectly optimized for the palate. Soft water is generally preferred in Japan to ensure that the delicate nuances of the kombu and bonito are not masked. Japan's natural geography often provides naturally soft water, which has historically influenced the development of its refined culinary techniques. When making a seafood-based broth, soft water allows for a more efficient and gentle extraction of the glutamates and nucleotides that provide the signature umami taste. It results in a broth that is exceptionally clear and light, with a clean finish that does not linger uncomfortably on the tongue. By contrast, using hard water can lead to a cloudy appearance and a metallic aftertaste that competes with the subtle flavors of the dried fish. This deep appreciation for water chemistry is a hallmark of Japanese craftsmanship, demonstrating how even the most basic elements of nature are carefully selected to achieve a harmonious and sophisticated culinary result. The noodle fold is a technique where chefs align the noodles neatly in the bowl to ensure an elegant visual presentation. After straining the noodles with a rhythmic shake, the chef uses long chopsticks to carefully comb and lay them into the broth in a beautiful, parallel wave. This is not purely for aesthetics, it also serves a functional purpose by ensuring the noodles are evenly distributed and do not become tangled or clumped together. This orderly arrangement allows the diner to pick up a consistent bundle of noodles with every dip of the chopsticks, improving the overall flow of the meal. It is a moment of calm and focus amidst the steam of the kitchen, representing the chef's respect for the customer. This attention to detail shows that even the way a noodle sits in the soup is a considered part of the artistic experience. Ramen has become a symbol of Japanese B-grade gourmet, representing delicious, high-quality food that is affordable for the general public. While a grade gourmet might refer to expensive kaiseki or fine dining, B-grade celebrates the soulful, everyday meals that nourish the working class and students alike. It is a category of food that prioritizes taste and satisfaction over luxury and formality, making it a beloved part of the national culture. Despite its humble classification, the level of skill and ingredient quality found in a top-tier ramen shop often rivals that of the most expensive restaurants. This democratization of high-quality cuisine is what makes ramen so universally appealing. It is a luxury that everyone can afford. It represents a culture where excellence is expected in every bowl, regardless of the price point, proving that great art can be found in a simple street-side shop. In recent years, several ramen shops in Tokyo have been awarded prestigious Michelin stars, elevating the dish to fine dining status. This global recognition has shifted the perception of ramen from a simple street snack to a sophisticated culinary masterpiece worthy of international acclaim. These starred establishments often feature limited seating and use incredibly rare or high-end ingredients, such as specialty soy sauces or heritage breeds of pork. The chefs at these shops apply the same level of precision and innovation as those in traditional French or Japanese high-end kitchens. However, even with this newfound status, they remain committed to the fundamental soul of the ramen experience. This fusion of humble origins and elite recognition proves that the depth of ramen culture is limitless, as it continues to evolve and gain respect as one of the world's most significant and complex gastronomic traditions. The global ramen boom has led to unique fusion styles, such as truffle-infused broths or ramen served with Western-style cheeses. As ramen has traveled across oceans, it has encountered new cultures and ingredients, sparking a wave of creative experimentation. Chefs in cities like New York, Paris, and London are blending traditional Japanese techniques with local flavors to create entirely new sensory experiences. For example, the earthy aroma of truffles can enhance the umami of a shoyu broth, while creamy cheeses can add a surprising richness to a spicy soup. While some purists may prefer traditional styles, these innovations show the incredible flexibility and adaptability of the ramen format. This evolution ensures that ramen remains a living, breathing tradition that can resonate with people of all backgrounds, proving that the world of noodles is constantly expanding and reinventing itself for a new generation. Vegan and vegetarian ramen are gaining popularity, using soy milk or vegetable purees to recreate the creamy texture of meat. Historically, ramen has relied heavily on animal bones for its rich mouthfeel, but modern culinary technology and creativity have made it possible to achieve similar results using only plants. By emulsifying vegetable oils with high-protein soy milk or roasting root vegetables to extract deep flavors, chefs can create a satisfyingly thick and savory broth. Mushrooms, seaweed, and fermented pastes are used strategically to provide the necessary umami hit that diners expect from a traditional bowl. This movement reflects a growing global awareness of health and sustainability, ensuring that ramen can be enjoyed by everyone regardless of their dietary choices. It demonstrates that the essence of ramen is not tied to any single ingredient, but rather to the skillful balance of flavor, texture, and warmth. Ramen stamina styles often include large amounts of garlic and ginger, believed to boost the immune system and provide energy. These bowls are designed to be a powerful tonic for the body, featuring bold, pungent flavors that stimulate the senses and warm the core. Garlic, in particular, is used in various forms, freshly grated, fried into chips, or infused into oil, to add a sharp, savory intensity that is thought to improve circulation. Ginger provides a gentle heat and a refreshing aromatic quality that helps to settle the stomach and clear the sinuses. These stamina bowls are especially popular among laborers and students who need a substantial boost during periods of hard work or cold weather. They represent the functional side of Japanese cuisine, where food is viewed not just as a source of pleasure, but as a vital form of medicine for the body and spirit. The act of finishing the entire bowl of soup is often seen as a compliment to the chef's hard daily work. In many ramen shops, drinking the very last drop of the broth is a silent way of saying that the meal was perfect and that nothing was wasted. This practice, known as kanpaku, acknowledges the hours of labor that went into creating the complex liquid. Some shops even place a small message of gratitude or a hidden design at the very bottom of the bowl, which can only be seen once the soup is gone. While it is not a strict requirement, this gesture of completion creates a personal connection between the diner and the chef. It reflects a deep appreciation for the resources of the earth and the skill of the human hand, turning a simple act of eating into a shared moment of respect and satisfaction. Many ramen shops use a vending machine ticket system to streamline the ordering process and focus entirely on the cooking. When you enter a traditional shop, you often encounter a machine covered in buttons displaying various ramen styles and toppings. You insert your money, select your meal, and receive a small paper ticket to hand to the staff. This system is a brilliant example of Japanese efficiency, as it eliminates the need for a dedicated cashier and reduces the handling of cash in the kitchen area. It allows the small team of chefs to concentrate their full attention on the delicate timing of the noodles and the temperature of the broth. For the customer, it simplifies the experience, providing a quick and clear way to customize their order before they even take a seat at the counter, ensuring that the service is as fast as the food is delicious. The design of the ramen bowl, or donbari, often features a traditional Ryu dragon or uzumaki spiral pattern on the rim. These intricate designs are not merely decorative, they carry deep cultural meanings and a sense of history. The dragon represents power and good fortune, while the spiral patterns, known as Ramen, symbolize the thunder and clouds of ancient mythology. The shape of the bowl is also specifically engineered to hold heat while being comfortable to hold with one hand. Thick ceramic walls are used to insulate the soup, ensuring it stays warm throughout the meal. The size and weight of the donbari provide a sense of groundedness and stability, making the act of eating feel like a significant and respected ritual. Each bowl is a piece of functional art that enhances the aesthetic and sensory pleasure of the dining experience, connecting the modern diner to ancient motifs. Naruto, the pink swirled fish cake, is named after the famous whirlpools found in the Naruto Strait of the Japanese Sea. This iconic topping, known technically as narutomaki, is a type of steamed fish paste that is cured and sliced into thin, decorative rounds. The beautiful pink spiral in the center is designed to mimic the powerful natural vortices that occur between Shikoku and Awaji Island. While it has a mild, slightly sweet flavor. Its primary role in the ramen bowl is visual, providing a playful and nostalgic splash of color against the brown and green of the other ingredients. It has become such a recognizable symbol of the dish that it even inspired the name of one of the world's most famous anime characters. This small piece of fish cake represents the whimsical side of Japanese culinary presentation, where the wonders of the natural world are reflected in the simple garnishes of an everyday meal. The aroma of a ramen shop is often dominated by the scent of simmering soy sauce and toasted sesame oil. This characteristic smell is so powerful that it can often be detected from blocks away, acting as an invisible invitation to passers-by. The scientific reason for this shop scent is the constant evaporation of aromatic compounds from the large, open pots of boiling broth and tear. When high-quality soy sauce is heated, it undergoes complex chemical changes that release savory, nutty, and slightly sweet odors. Sesame oil, often used in the finishing oil or the marinade for the toppings, adds a rich, roasted note that rounds out the olfactory profile. This smell becomes a memory trigger for many Japanese people, instantly evoking a sense of hunger and comfort. It is an essential part of the atmosphere, creating a warm and welcoming environment that prepares the brain for the deep satisfaction of the coming meal. Some shops specialize in gyro-style ramen, known for its massive portions of noodles, vegetables, and thick layers of garlic. Named after the original ramen gyro shop in Tokyo, this subculture of ramen is famous for its extreme intensity and dedicated following of gyroians. The bowl is typically piled high with a mountain of blanched bean sprouts and cabbage, sitting atop thick, heavy noodles and a broth that is incredibly rich in pork fat. Diners can customize their garlic power and fat levels using specific shorthand commands at the counter. While it may seem overwhelming to a beginner, gyro style represents the ultimate indulgence and a unique social phenomenon where the challenge of finishing the bowl is part of the experience. It showcases the diverse range of the ramen world, proving that the dish can be a refined, delicate soup or a bold, high-energy feast for those with a massive appetite. Ramen tourism is a real phenomenon, where enthusiasts travel across the country to visit famous holy sites of specific styles. These dedicated fans, often called ramen otaku, will stand in long queues for hours just to taste a single bowl from a legendary master. Some travelers plan entire vacations around the ramen map of Japan, moving from the miso shops of Sapporo to the tonkotsu stalls of Fukuoka. This passion drives the economy of small towns and keeps traditional regional recipes alive in a rapidly changing world. Local governments often support this by creating ramen stadiums or themed streets where multiple famous shops are gathered in one location. This culture of exploration highlights how food can be a powerful bridge to local history and geography. For many, the journey to find the perfect bowl is just as fulfilling as the delicious and savory destination itself. The psychological effect of eating ramen is often described as soul food, providing comfort and nostalgia during difficult or lonely times. In Japan, ramen is the meal people turn to when they are tired, cold, or in need of a warm embrace. There is a specific chemical reason for this. The combination of carbohydrates from the noodles and the high salt and fat content in the broth triggers the release of dopamine in the brain. However, the emotional connection goes deeper than just chemistry. Many people have fond memories of eating ramen with their families or visiting a favorite shop during their student years. The steam rising from the bowl provides a sensory barrier against the outside world, creating a private moment of peace. It is a dish that nourishes the heart as much as the body, acting as a reliable source of warmth and consistency in an ever-changing life. Gyoza dumplings are the most common side dish, offering a crispy texture that complements the softness of the noodles. These pan-fried dumplings are typically filled with a mixture of minced pork, cabbage, garlic, and ginger, wrapped in a thin dough. In a ramen shop, they are usually served yaki gyoza style, where they are fried on one side to a golden crisp while the other side is steamed to a tender finish. The contrast between the crunchy exterior and the juicy, aromatic filling provides a wonderful counterpoint to the liquid-heavy experience of the ramen. Diners often dip them in a mixture of soy sauce, vinegar, and chili oil to add a sharp, tangy kick to the meal. This classic pairing is so popular that many people consider a ramen meal incomplete without a plate of these savory dumplings. It represents the harmony of different textures that is so central to Japanese dining. Shahan, or fried rice, is another classic accompaniment that uses the same pork drippings for a cohesive and savory meal. Many ramen chefs utilize the flavorful oils and small trimmings from the chashu pork to season their fried rice, ensuring that the flavors of the side dish match the soup perfectly. The rice is cooked at extremely high heat in a wok, giving it a slightly smoky wok hay aroma that is deeply satisfying. A good bowl of shahan is fluffy and dry, with each grain of rice coated in seasoning and tossed with egg and green onions. Serving shahan alongside ramen is a traditional way to provide a high-calorie, high-satisfaction meal for those with physically demanding jobs. It demonstrates the resourcefulness of the ramen kitchen, where every ingredient is used to its full potential to create a unified and delicious culinary experience for the hardworking customer. Many ramen shops are small, intimate spaces with only a counter, fostering a direct connection between the chef and the customer. This layout is a deliberate choice that places the kitchen at the center of the experience, allowing diners to watch the rhythmic movements of the chef as they strain the noodles and pour the broth. There is a shared energy in these small spaces, where the sound of slurping and the clinking of ceramic create a unique urban symphony. This proximity means that the food is served at its absolute peak of freshness, often moving from the pot to the customer in a matter of seconds. The lack of barriers encourages a sense of mutual respect. The chef sees the enjoyment of the diner, and the diner sees the hard work of the chef. This intimate setting transforms a simple meal into a shared human moment, grounded in the heat and steam of the kitchen. The speed at which ramen is served is a point of pride, ensuring the noodles do not become overcooked or soggy. In a professional shop, the timing is choreographed like a performance. The bowl is prepared with tar and oil just as the noodles reach their ideal firmness. Because ramen noodles continue to absorb water and soften the moment they hit the hot broth, every second of delay affects the quality of the meal. A great chef calculates the time it takes for a waiter to carry the bowl to the table, aiming for the golden window of texture. This sense of urgency reflects a deep respect for the ingredients and the customer's experience. For the diner, the rapid arrival of a steaming bowl is a signal to begin eating immediately, participating in a fleeting moment of culinary perfection that is designed to be enjoyed at its absolute peak. High-protein wheat is specifically selected for ramen to ensure the noodles have enough gluten to maintain their structural integrity. Unlike pastry flour, which is soft and low in protein, ramen flour must be strong enough to withstand the intense heat and acidity of the alkaline broth. The gluten network provides the chew that enthusiasts look for, allowing the noodles to remain elastic even after several minutes of immersion in boiling liquid. Scientists and millers work closely with chefs to develop specific blends of wheat that offer the perfect balance of flavor, color, and strength. This focus on the raw material is a testament to the sophistication of the industry, where the choice of grain is just as important as the choice of meat. Understanding the role of protein helps us appreciate the engineering that goes into every strand, ensuring a consistent and satisfying bite from the beginning to the end. Some chefs age their noodle dough for a day or two to allow the gluten to relax and improve the texture. This process, known as maturation, allows the moisture to distribute evenly throughout the flour particles, resulting in a more uniform and translucent noodle. On a molecular level, the resting period allows the tightly wound gluten strands to settle, which prevents the noodles from becoming too tough or rubbery when cooked. Instead, they develop a refined snap that is highly prized by connoisseurs. Temperature and humidity are carefully controlled during this aging process to prevent spoilage while encouraging subtle enzymatic changes that enhance the wheat's natural sweetness. This slow approach to a fast food highlights the hidden patience involved in ramen production. It shows that even the most energetic dish benefits from a period of quiet stillness, allowing the ingredients to reach their full potential through the passage of time. The koshi of a noodle refers to the perfect balance between firmness and elasticity, a highly prized quality in Japan. This term is difficult to translate directly into English, but it describes a sensation of resistance followed by a clean break when the teeth sink into the noodle. It is not simply about being hard. Rather, it is about a lively, springy feedback that makes the act of chewing enjoyable. Achieving the perfect koshi requires a master's understanding of hydration levels, kneading techniques, and boiling times. It is the holy grail for noodle makers, representing the peak of craftsmanship and scientific control. When a diner praises the koshi of a bowl of ramen, they are acknowledging the chef's success in manipulating the physical properties of wheat and water. This focus on texture adds a layer of intellectual and sensory depth to the meal, making each bite a tactile and memorable experience. Ramen has appeared frequently in Japanese anime and film, further cementing its place as a recognizable icon of modern culture. From the legendary scenes in Tampopo to the orange-clad ninja Naruto's favorite shop, the dish is often portrayed as a source of strength, friendship, and intense passion. These media depictions have played a massive role in introducing ramen culture to international audiences, turning the simple act of eating noodles into a globally recognized symbol of Japanese life. In many stories, the ramen shop serves as a sanctuary where characters find clarity or resolve their differences over a warm meal. This cultural visibility has transformed ramen into a form of soft power, attracting millions of tourists to Japan in search of the authentic flavors they first saw on screen. It proves that a bowl of soup can be a powerful storyteller, carrying the values and aesthetics of a nation far beyond its own borders. The evolution of ramen continues with molecular ramen, using foams and gels to present traditional flavors in entirely new ways. Inspired by modern fine dining, some avant-garde chefs are deconstructing the components of ramen to surprise and delight the palate. You might encounter a broth that has been transformed into a light, airy foam to concentrate the aroma, or toppings that have been spherified to burst with flavor when bitten. While these techniques use high-tech equipment, the goal remains the same: to maximize the impact of umami and balance. These experimental shops often treat the dining room like a laboratory, pushing the boundaries of what is considered traditional while staying true to the fundamental science of flavor. This movement shows that ramen is not a static tradition frozen in time, but a dynamic and evolving art form that is not afraid to embrace the future of science and technology. Black garlic oil, or mayu, is a popular addition that adds a charred, smoky depth to many tonkotsu-based ramen bowls. To create this striking jet black oil, garlic cloves are slowly fried in sesame oil until they are completely blackened and carbonized. While burnt garlic is usually bitter, this controlled process transforms the harshness into a complex, bittersweet, and earthy aroma that is incredibly addictive. When drizzled over the creamy white pork broth, it creates a beautiful visual contrast and a multi-layered flavor profile that cuts through the richness of the animal fat. The science of slow frying allows the sugars in the garlic to undergo a deep caramelization, creating a unique ingredient that is both bitter and savory. Mayu is a favorite among those who enjoy bold, intense flavors, adding a dark and mysterious edge to the classic comfort of a traditional bowl. The interaction between the capsaicin in spicy ramen and the creamy fats creates a complex sensation of heat and relief. Many modern ramen styles, such as tantanmen or spicy miso, use chili oils and peppers to provide a fiery kick. From a biological perspective, the capsaicin triggers heat receptors on the tongue, but the presence of fats and oils in the broth helps to coat these receptors and mitigate the burn. This creates a rolling heat that is intense but manageable, allowing the other savory notes of the soup to still be perceived. The addition of sesame paste or nut butters often adds a creamy buffer that enhances this effect, resulting in a rich and spicy harmony. This balance of pain and pleasure is what makes spicy ramen so compelling for many diners. It turns the meal into a physical experience that stimulates the body and clears the mind, providing a satisfying sense of accomplishment. Ramen shops often close as soon as the soup runs out, emphasizing the daily commitment to quality over quantity. Because a truly great broth takes many hours, sometimes even days to prepare, a shop has a finite amount of liquid gold to serve each day. Rather than diluting the soup or using instant shortcuts to meet high demand, reputable masters prefer to shut their doors once the pot is empty. This practice ensures that every single customer, from the first to the last, receives the same high-standard experience. It also allows the chef to begin the long process of preparing the next day's batch immediately. This limited edition nature of artisan ramen adds to its allure, creating a sense of exclusivity and respect for the process. It is a humble reminder that some of the best things in life cannot be mass-produced and are worth waiting for or even waking up early to find. The seasonal limited edition ramen bowls allow chefs to experiment with fleeting ingredients like spring bamboo or autumn mushrooms. These Gentai ramen offerings are highly anticipated by regular customers and often reflect the specific timing of the Japanese microseasons. A chef might create a refreshing chilled ramen using summer citrus or a heavy, collagen-rich stew featuring winter root vegetables. This practice connects the ramen shop to the ancient Japanese tradition of shun, which celebrates eating ingredients at their absolute peak of seasonal flavor. It also provides a creative outlet for the chef to break away from their signature menu and showcase their versatility. For the diner, these limited bowls offer a unique, one-time-only experience that will never be repeated exactly the same way again. It keeps the relationship between the shop and the community vibrant, turning each change of the weather into a new and delicious discovery. In Japanese culture, ramen is the ultimate shime or concluding meal after a night of social drinking with friends or colleagues. This tradition of the finishing bowl is deeply rooted in the urban lifestyle, where many salarymen and students stop at a brightly lit ramen shop before heading home. There is a biological reason for this craving. Alcohol consumption can lead to a drop in blood sugar and a loss of salts, making the hot, carbohydrate-rich noodles and salty broth feel incredibly restorative. The warm soup helps to soothe the stomach and provides a sense of grounding after a night of excitement. This ritual of the shime ramen is more than just eating. It is a quiet moment of transition between the festivities of the evening and the rest of the night. It represents a communal sense of closure, ensuring that the day ends on a warm and satisfied note. The craftsmanship of the noodle strainer or tebo is essential for removing every drop of excess water before plating. You may often see ramen chefs performing a sharp, downward snapping motion with a deep cylindrical basket. This is the yukari or water cutting technique. If even a small amount of the starchy boiling water remains on the noodles, it will dilute the carefully balanced broth and alter its flavor and clarity. Professional chefs take great pride in their yukari style, which requires significant wrist strength and precise rhythm. Some even develop unique, acrobatic movements that have become a trademark of their shop's identity. This physical act is the final bridge between the cooking process and the presentation, ensuring that the noodles are perfectly primed to absorb the savory oils and seasoned soup without any unwanted interference. It is a vital, energetic display of technical discipline. Wabi-sabi can be found in the simple, unadorned beauty of a perfectly balanced bowl of clear shoyu ramen. While some modern styles are flashy and piled with toppings, the aesthetic of wabi-sabi celebrates the beauty of imperfection, transience, and the essence of things. A bowl of clear soup with a few simple ingredients reflects a deep confidence in the quality of the raw materials. The steam rising from the liquid, the slight irregularities in the hand-cut noodles, and the gentle pool of oil on the surface all evoke a sense of quietude and rustic elegance. This philosophy encourages the diner to slow down and appreciate the fleeting moment of the meal. By stripping away the excess, the chef reveals the heart of the dish, proving that true luxury does not always require complexity. It is a reminder that there is profound depth in simplicity and a quiet world of flavor to be found in stillness. The use of yuzu, a Japanese citrus, adds a bright and floral acidity that cuts through the richness of animal fats. Yuzu is a unique fruit that grows in the mountainous regions of Japan, prized for its incredibly aromatic zest and tart juice. When added to a heavy tonkotsu or shoyu ramen, a small amount of yuzu peel can completely transform the flavor profile, lifting the heavy notes and providing a refreshing finish. It acts as a palate cleanser, making each subsequent bite of rich pork or oily soup feel as fresh as the first. This use of citrus demonstrates the Japanese culinary mastery of balance, where high fat content is countered by sharp, natural acids. For many modern chefs, yuzu is a secret weapon that adds a sophisticated, clean dimension to the bowl, proving that ramen can be both an indulgent feast and a refined, aromatic experience that engages all the senses. Niboshi ramen uses small dried sardines to create a powerful, slightly bitter, and deeply oceanic broth that is very popular. These tiny fish are meticulously cleaned and simmered to extract a concentrated punch of seafood umami that is much more intense than standard fish stocks. While the aroma can be quite pungent to the uninitiated, enthusiasts crave the bittersweet complexity that niboshi provides. This style often results in a darker, more opaque soup that carries a gritty, authentic character of the sea. It is a testament to the Japanese appreciation for adult flavors, where a hint of bitterness is seen as a sign of depth and sophistication. Niboshi ramen represents the rugged, coastal heritage of Japan, utilizing the bounty of the surrounding oceans to create a soul-stirring broth that is as bold as it is traditional. It is a flavor that lingers, telling a story of the deep, cold currents. The concept of kodawari refers to the obsessive pursuit of perfection that many ramen chefs apply to their craft every day. This term is central to understanding why ramen has reached such high levels of quality. It is the uncompromising commitment to every tiny detail of the process. A chef with kodawari might spend months sourcing a specific type of salt from a remote island or refuse to open the shop if the day's broth does not meet their exact standards. This isn't just about professional pride. It is a personal philosophy where the work itself is a path towards self-improvement. Kodawari is the reason why a dish that costs only $10 can involve the same level of care as a $1,000 piece of art. When you eat a bowl of ramen made with this spirit, you are consuming the result of a lifelong journey of dedication, where no detail is ever considered too small to be perfect. Advanced food technology now allows for high-quality frozen ramen that captures the authentic taste of a professional restaurant at home. In recent years, companies have developed frozen fresh technology where the soup, noodles, and toppings are flash frozen at the peak of their flavor. Unlike instant noodles, which are dehydrated, these frozen versions maintain the original moisture and texture of the ingredients, allowing home diners to experience restaurant-grade quality in minutes. This innovation has been especially important for famous shops that want to share their flavors with people living far from the city. It reflects the ongoing marriage between tradition and technology in Japan, ensuring that high-level culinary experiences are more accessible than ever before. This technology preserves the soul of the broth, showing that even in a frozen state, the scientific precision and care of the ramen master can be delivered directly to a kitchen table across the world. Traditional ramen shops often have a narration curtain at the entrance, which is tucked away when the shop is closed. These fabric dividers serve as a symbolic boundary between the busy street and the sanctuary of the ramen counter. Historically, the narration was used as a way for customers to wipe their hands as they left, and a dirty narration was actually a sign of a popular and successful shop. Today, they are kept clean and often display the shop's name in bold calligraphy, serving as a proud badge of the brand's identity. When a chef hangs the narration in the morning, it signals that the long hours of preparation are over and the stage is set for the day's performance. Passing through the narration is the first step in the ramen ritual, inviting the guest to leave the worries of the outside world behind and enter a warm space dedicated to the simple, focused pleasure of a hot bowl of soup. The history of the renge spoon dates back to its design, which allows for sipping both broth and small toppings easily. Unlike a flat Western spoon, the renge has a deep, curved well and a flat bottom, allowing it to hold a generous amount of liquid and stay upright when placed on the table. Its name comes from its resemblance to a fallen lotus petal, adding a touch of natural beauty to the utensil. The renge is specifically designed for the slurping culture of ramen, providing a large surface area for the aroma to escape as the diner sips. It is the perfect tool for capturing the small bits of minced pork, green onions, and corn that sink to the bottom of the bowl. This specialized spoon ensures that not a single drop of the labor-intensive broth is wasted, making it an essential partner to the chopsticks in the rhythmic, multi-textured dance of eating a complete bowl of ramen. Learning about ramen teaches us about the history of trade, migration, and the adaptability of Japanese culture over the centuries. What began as a foreign import was embraced, deconstructed, and rebuilt using local ingredients and Japanese sensibilities, eventually becoming a global ambassador for the country's cuisine. This journey reflects the broader story of Japan itself, a nation that is expert at taking external influences and refining them into something uniquely and beautifully its own. Ramen is a living archive of the people's resilience after the war, their industrial ingenuity, and their deep, spiritual connection to the seasons and the land. By looking closely at a single bowl of noodles, we can see the interconnected threads of human history and the incredible power of food to transcend borders. It reminds us that culture is never static. It is a constantly simmering pot of new ideas, ancient wisdom, and shared passion for a truly delicious life. The future of ramen may include more sustainable ingredients like insect-based proteins or climate-resilient grains for the wheat noodles. As the world faces new environmental challenges, innovative chefs in Tokyo and beyond are already experimenting with alternative sources of umami that have a lower ecological footprint. For example, some pioneering shops have successfully used crickets to create a deep, nutty broth that is rich in protein and incredibly savory. At the same time, agricultural scientists are developing new varieties of wheat that can thrive in changing weather patterns, ensuring the future of noodle production. These developments show that the ramen industry is not just looking back at tradition, but is actively participating in the global conversation about food security. It proves that the soul food of Japan is resilient enough to adapt to the needs of the planet while still providing the intense satisfaction and warmth that diners have loved for generations. artificial intelligence is beginning to be used to analyze flavor profiles and suggest perfect ingredient pairings for new ramen recipes. While the intuition of a human master can never be replaced, advanced data analysis can help chefs understand the molecular interactions between different types of soy sauce, fats, and aromatics. By processing thousands of flavor compounds, AI can identify non-traditional combinations, such as specific fruits or spices from other continents, that might harmonize perfectly with a traditional tonkotsu or shoyu base. This technological partnership allows for a new level of culinary fusion that is grounded in the actual chemistry of taste. It opens up a world of infinite possibilities for the next generation of ramen creators, ensuring that the dish continues to surprise and delight the palate. This blend of silicon and soul represents the cutting edge of Japanese gastronomy, where ancient techniques meet the limitless potential of the digital age. Ramen serves as a universal language, bringing people from different backgrounds together over a steaming bowl of delicious hot soup. Whether in a crowded alley in Shinjuku or a modern restaurant in New York, the sight of a hot bowl of noodles creates an instant sense of community and shared expectation. People who may not speak the same language or share the same culture can still find common ground in the appreciation of a perfectly cooked egg or a rich, savory broth. This social power of ramen is perhaps its most important quality. It breaks down barriers and fosters a sense of human connection in an increasingly fragmented world. The simple act of sitting at a counter, side by side with strangers, and focusing on a shared culinary experience is a powerful reminder of our common humanity. Ramen is more than just food. It is a bridge that connects us all through the universal joy of eating. The silence often found in a high-end ramen shop is a sign of deep respect for the food and the chef. Unlike a noisy bar or a casual cafe, many serious ramen establishments have an atmosphere of quiet focus, where the only sounds are the boiling of water and the rhythmic slurping of the diners. This delicious silence allows the customer to concentrate entirely on the complex layers of flavor and the varying textures within the bowl. It is a form of mindfulness, where the outside world fades away and the primary focus becomes the heat, the aroma, and the saltiness of the meal. This focused environment is a tribute to the chef's hard work, acknowledging that the results of such intense labor deserve one's full attention. In these moments, the act of eating becomes a meditation, a quiet celebration of the present moment and the mastery involved in creating a fleeting piece of culinary art. Every ingredient in ramen is a gift from nature, requiring clean water, fertile soil, and a healthy ocean to exist. The wheat for the noodles comes from the golden fields, the kombu and fish from the deep blue sea, and the vegetables from the rich earth. This interconnectedness reminds us that the quality of our food is directly tied to the health of our environment. Ramen chefs are often the first to notice changes in the natural world, as the quality of their sardines or the mineral balance of their water can vary with the seasons and environmental conditions. This realization fosters a sense of gratitude and stewardship, encouraging a deeper respect for the natural resources that sustain us. A single bowl of ramen is a microcosm of the planet's bounty, a delicious reminder that we are part of a larger ecological system that provides the essential building blocks for our culture and our physical survival. The heat of the ramen bowl is said to warm not just the body, but the very spirit of the person eating. In Japan, the concept of kokoro, which encompasses both the heart and the mind, is central to the dining experience. When a person is feeling low, tired, or overwhelmed, a hot bowl of ramen provides a physical and emotional hug that can restore one's sense of well-being. The steam rising from the soup acts as a gentle vapor that clears the senses, while the warmth of the ceramic bowl provides a grounding tactile sensation. This spiritual nourishment is why ramen is the go-to meal for students studying late at night or workers after a long shift. It offers a moment of sanctuary and a promise of renewal, proving that the most effective medicine can often be found in a simple, well-crafted meal. It is the ultimate expression of hospitality, intended to heal and comfort the soul. Understanding the science of ramen helps us appreciate the invisible labor and the complex chemistry hidden within a simple meal. When we look at the milky cloudiness of a tonkotsu broth or the golden clarity of a shoyu soup, we are seeing the results of precise temperature control and molecular extraction. We are seeing the outcome of hours of patient work, where raw proteins and minerals have been transformed into a liquid masterpiece. Recognizing the role of alkaline salts in the noodles or the synergistic power of umami compounds allows us to see the chef as both an artist and a scientist. This knowledge adds a layer of intellectual satisfaction to the sensory pleasure of the meal, making every bite feel more significant. It reminds us that there is no such thing as simple food. Even the most humble bowl of noodles is the product of profound human intelligence and a deep understanding of the natural world. Ramen is a living tradition that respects its history while constantly pushing the boundaries of what is possible in a bowl. It is a culture that refuses to be static, always looking for new ways to refine its techniques and incorporate new influences. This balance between Ancho-Chishin learning from the past to discover the new is what keeps the ramen world so vibrant and exciting. Young chefs are constantly challenging the status quo, experimenting with wild ingredients and modern technology while still honoring the fundamental principles of balance and umami. This evolutionary spirit ensures that ramen will never become a relic of the past, but will continue to be a relevant and essential part of the global culinary landscape. It is a tradition that is built on change, a story that is still being written with every new pot of broth that is placed on the stove. It is a testament to the enduring power of creativity. The journey of ramen from a street snack to a global phenomenon is a testament to human creativity and culinary passion. It is a story of how a modest dish, born from necessity and cultural exchange, could capture the imagination of millions and become a symbol of a nation's identity. This global success was not achieved through marketing alone, but through the consistent quality and soul-satisfying nature of the food itself. Ramen has traveled from the portable wooden stalls of Edo-era Japan to the most sophisticated kitchens in the world, carrying with it a message of accessibility, innovation, and comfort. It shows us that when we put our heart and our intelligence into something, even the simplest idea can grow into something monumental. The history of ramen is an inspiration to anyone who believes in the power of craft, proving that dedication to a single goal can eventually move the entire world. A single bowl of ramen is a universe of flavor, representing a perfect and quiet moment of harmony in a busy world. Within the circular rim of the donburi, the land and the sea meet, the past and the future collide, and science and art become one. Every element, the chew of the noodle, the depth of the broth, the crunch of the bamboo, has been carefully orchestrated to provide a complete and balanced experience. As you take your final sip of the warm, savory liquid, you are participating in a tradition that has nourished generations and will continue to nourish many more. It is a small but significant miracle that occurs every day in thousands of shops across the globe. In a world that often feels chaotic and fast-paced, ramen offers a moment of stillness and intense satisfaction. It is a reminder to slow down, breathe deeply, and appreciate the incredible complexity and beauty that can be found in a single, simple bowl of soup. Perhaps you'll look at a simple bowl of ramen a little differently now, noticing the seasons captured in a splash of citrus, the centuries of tradition in the alkaline noodles, the quiet craftsmanship in the simmer of a broth. Ramen is a harmony of nature and time, a bridge between the deep, cold currents of the ocean and the warm fields of the earth. As you drift towards sleep, let these thoughts settle softly. Breathe deeply and allow the gentle, rhythmic steam of the kitchen to carry you into rest. Imagine the quiet streets of Japan at night, the warm glow of the ramen shop lanterns, the comforting sound of water boiling in a large pot, the delicate scent of toasted sesame and soy sauce drifting on the cool air. Let these sensations blur and fade as sleep approaches, as balanced and serene as the flavors that have nourished us tonight. If you happen to still be awake, you can go ahead and rest your eyes and drift away. But if your mind is growing quiet, if your body feels heavy and relaxed, let yourself surrender to sleep. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and allow everything to fall away. Drift into the deep, into the stillness, into the peaceful, warm embrace of the night. Rest now. Let the stories of the harvest and the hearth settle into your dreams, and may you wake refreshed, ready to taste the world anew. Good night.